Uja Ubenefer, we're just going to be starting in a few minutes. Thank you. Get these glasses on. These aren't the people that... All right. Good Rising Bulldog Marines. Welcome to Good Rising TV. Welcome to Good Rising TV from Asmataji Temple. Oh, gotta switch my screen. One of these days I'm gonna remember. There we go. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're gonna start in just a few more moments. Ubenefer, Good Rising, Great Awakenings. Welcome to Good Rising TV from Asmataji Temple and Light Being Wellness Center. On Thursdays, we talk about the Neterian practice, spiritual practice, different elements, aspects, and teachings that might be helpful to you on your spiritual journey. My name is Tachia Ahmet. I am currently living in Chicago, Illinois. Uja Ubenefer. And I've been on this spiritual path for almost 40 years. It's changed over the decades. I began as in Rastafari, and I had a reggae band. And then I got into Japanese Buddhism, got into Black Hebrew Israelites, got into Native American traditions, and then I got into Chemetics, the Neterian lifestyle. So what do I mean by Neterian? Uja Ubenefer. Well, the Neteru are cosmic forces of nature, aka gods and goddesses. And this practice is said to have originated in ancient African Egypt. However, there's much evidence to support the perspective or point of view that this tradition existed all over the world at different times and different languages, but it's basically the same practice of following the gods and goddesses. So by gods and goddesses, you might think of idol worship, or making offerings to statues or paintings. And I know some traditions of Western imperialism consider that a taboo, and they discourage it, and they have people thinking that it's witchcraft. But actually, the gods and goddesses are forces of nature. And the ancient masters knew or learned how to use these forces of nature in their daily lives, how to create with the forces of nature, how to live with the forces of nature, and eventually how to become forces of nature, gods and goddesses themselves. And so in some cultures, you might think that they're worshiping the fire, or they're worshiping the wind, or they're worshiping plants, or they're worshiping the sky. In fact, they are using cosmic forces of nature to create and to manifest and to live, to improve their lives. And like I said, the Western religions of Western imperialism look down on this, and they discourage this, and they scare people from it. They make it look dangerous. So on Thursdays, we talk about different aspects of spirituality from the Aboriginal or Indigenous people around the world, but in particular, my focus is the Kemetic culture and seeing how these other traditions are variations of the Kemetic culture, thereby uniting all the different tribes and nations, indigenous, aboriginal, original, aka non-Western imperialism, so that we can come together, and not come together and you have to become something else, but just be able to work together. On Tuesdays, we talk about aspects of nation building. Wednesdays, we have Wellness Wednesdays. We talk about different healing arts and practices. And on Thursdays, we dive deep into our divinity, because each one of us has the potential to become a god or a goddess. And as I mentioned yesterday, I'm a student of Dr. Wada Ashby. And in this book, The Mysteries of Isis and Ra, or Aset and Ra, he goes through the scripture. As you can see, he has the trilinear system of translation, where he has the hieroglyphs, the literal translation, and then his translation or interpretation. And Dr. Ashby's works are always putting you in the direction towards your enlightenment and becoming a god or goddess yourself. But anyway, he took the script. Here's a photograph of the scripture. It's very long, as you can see, scrolled. And one of the chapters, one of the lines, let's see if I can find it quickly. Yeah. So anyway, what she did was she devised a plan to learn the name of Ra. And once you know the name of a cosmic force of nature, you develop their characteristics, their qualities, you awaken them in yourself, because these forces of nature live within all of us. And we're just activating them when we're chanting or singing or doing yoga or meditating. We're activating them within ourselves. And so, see if I can. So what I did was she devised a plan to learn the name of Ra. I talked about it a lot last session. She tricked him. She created a serpent. It's called a taffy serpent, taffy shepsi, and laid it in his path, and it bit him. And he developed symptoms similar to the flu, where he had the shakes, he was cold, and there wasn't a cure, so Ra was getting ready to die. Oh, thank you so much for following. He's getting ready to die, and Aset comes along and says, well, I have the antidote. All you have to do is tell me your name. He didn't want to tell her his name, because then she would have the same powers of manifestation that he did. So eventually he gave her the name, and that's how she became a goddess. And at the end of the story, I should have marked the page, because I knew I was going to talk about this. Okay, here it is. Is this the last? I think it's the last page of the scripture. Yeah. Okay. Wait. Is it? Yeah. Then it's the gloss. Okay. So this is from page 81 of the book. So this is about after she has given him the cure. Neteru utjes nf heren f aset hekatoyu sheptu metu pert imra arit heru peri im neter nubau in ra efi nuk aria nuk ahau mai herta. So it has happened that Ra's name has been lifted out of his body. Aset, the lady great and mighty of words of power, has caused to flow the poison, to make it come forth through Ra's body. The eye of Heru also comes forth from the divinity, as shining gold from his mouth. I have done this. It was me. I am the divinity who is the cause of the bringing out of the poison and making it fall down onto the ground. Ermetu sekemu maki utez in Neteru. The poison has fallen under the protective vital forces, life forces. He has been lifted up from the divinity A Ren Neteref Ra Ankef Metut Mer Tjest Min A Mes in Mint Ankef Metut Mer Jed in Aset The great divine name his own. May Ra live and may the poison die. Having achieved the goal of life, the fruit of her dispassion, detachment, and concentration on his form, function, and nature, the one-pointed sacred serpent discipline had served its purpose. And now the world was no longer a source of delusion, since her existence is now like that of Ra. The magician is not deluded by his own magic, so Ra, the creation, can continue without deluding her. And conversely, there is a firm binding trust now between a certain child of a certain woman, so that for that child, also when the time comes, may the poison die too. These words are by Aset, the great. Henut Neteru Rek Ra Im Renef Jezezef, Jed Medu Hertu in Temu Hena Heru Hekenu. Repeat Aset Tut Heru. Mistress of the gods and goddesses, she who is the knower of Ra's own divine name, she instructs that these words of this teaching are to be spoken over an image of the god Temu, along with an image of Heru the proclaimer, and also an image of the glorious and extolled goddess Aset, together with an image of Heru. I actually have that downstairs, so maybe next time I'll have it up here. But by following the teachings, you can transform your life into that of a god or a goddess. So if you're interested in that, I recommend you studying with Seba Ma Seba Ja at Temple of Shatao Neter, Temple of Aset. And you can go through the training. I made it to level 8, and then I had to take a pause. But it was a wonderful journey experience, and it got me to where I am today. All right, so next I wanted to have a little reading from their prayer book, the Shatao Neter Devotional Manual. Here's some pictures of Seba Ma and Seba Ja. They were younger. Uja, Uba Nefer, Good Rising and Great Awakenings. Welcome to Good Rising TV. Cosmic Forces of Nature. Conversations about the Neteru and about Netarian practice of worship. So today we're reading from page 13, which is my lucky number, or my good number. I don't want to say lucky. And we're at the paragraph called The Purpose of Divine Worship. This by Dr. Maud Ashby. This manual has been composed with original prayers, words of power, and meditations on the divine from ancient Egyptian sources. Due to the scope of this volume, it would be impossible to explain in detail the mystical teachings contained in each utterance. However, we have attempted to provide a basic knowledge related to the prayers and utterances. It is strongly suggested that you seek further instruction from the Shatao Neter book series. You may send for the Egyptian Yoga Catalog and the Egyptian Yoga Guide. Now this is back in the days when they were still using cassettes. They didn't have internet yet. These 2 free pamphlets provide information about the teachings and the contents of the book series on ancient Egyptian yoga and mystical spirituality. The purpose of Ushet, or devotion, is to engender understanding and closeness with the divine. So as you study and practice the teachings, their deeper, subtle, and mystical meaning will be revealed to you automatically. One thing that Seba Ma teaches us, is that traditional Western imperialism religions only take you to 2 aspects of spiritual practice, which would be the devotion and devotion. I'm forgetting the third one. I'm forgetting the third one. Well, I'll have to remember what that third one is. But they don't take you through the mystical experience. the mystical experience is reserved for the priests and priestesses. But in indigenous or for Kemetic or Netarian spirituality, the experience of the mysticism, the mystical side of life, is available to all of us, not just the priesthood. What is this second? Let's see if I can find that quickly. This is Volume 1, Egyptian Yoga. Let's see if I can find that quickly. I don't know what it is, but let's take a look at some of these proverbs. Self-knowledge is the basis of true knowledge. Soul is to heaven and body is to earth. Man is to become godlike through a life of virtue and the cultivation of the spirit through scientific knowledge, practice, and bodily discipline. Salvation is accomplished through the efforts of the individual. There is no mediator between man and his or her salvation. Salvation is the freeing of the soul from its bodily fetters, becoming a god or a goddess through knowledge and wisdom, controlling the forces of the cosmos instead of being a slave to them, subduing the lower nature, and through awakening the higher self, ending the cycle of rebirth, and dwelling with the Neters, who direct and control the great plan. There, that explains it in a few proverbs. Beautiful. I'm looking for the three. Well, let's see. Here we are. The path. There we go. Found it. Spiritual aspiration. The path of religion or spiritual practice. Myth, ritual, and mystical. And so what I was saying was most religions of the third world, Western imperialism, only have the ritual and the myth. And the mystical experience is reserved for the priesthood. And let's see what else they have here. Devotion is the myth. Action is the ritual. And meditation and wisdom lead you to the mystical experience. Then we also have the 3 stages of spiritual aspiration. Aspiration, which is when you're hoping to become a god or goddess, because Aset was bored with being human. She said there had to be more to life than this. And she had become a master of several disciplines, of the sciences, of healing, of life in general, and she was like, there had to be more, and that's why she devised that plan. So that was her aspiration. And then striving is when you take action. Let's say that's when you stop eating meat, or you take a yoga class, or you learn to meditate, or you walk away from the Western imperialism that you are raised with. You walk away from the church or whatever is not going to take you to the mystical level. And then you are established. You become established in your spirituality. You become a god or a goddess. You become a manifester. You become a healer. You become a teacher to the next generation. Oh, this is wonderful. Then you could also take the path of yoga mysticism. So you can have religion, or you can be a yogi. That's basically the chart here. I'm just reading from this chart. So you could have the religious or spiritual practice, myth, ritual, mysticism. And then you could also do the path of yogi mysticism, meditation, devotion, wisdom, action, and tantrism. Now, action is right action or selfless action. And tantric yoga is the serpent power. So most people would think that tantra yoga means the yoga of, the yoga of sex, right? Because there is a whole practice of that. But in reality, even that practice is really about mastering the kundalini, which is known as Sekhem in the Netarian tradition. Action is right action or ma'at action or selfless action, like doing charity work or selfless service at your spiritual temple. So I'm so glad I found that. That's exactly what I was looking for. Okay. All right, so let's go back to this. Oh, and I wanted to say with this book, Egyptian Yoga Volume 1, this is the introductory level to this practice. And if you happen to start at another level, like a book on the scriptures from the Day of the Dead, the Book of the Dead, it will always have the same introductory chapter. All of his books have the first chapter that's in this book because it explains the history, it outlines the whole practice. And so I remember there were some people that didn't like his books because I guess they were only reading the first chapter and they were like, this is the same information in the other book. So I'm just warning you that if you do get his book, it's always going to have the same first chapter. But the first time someone told me about this book, I borrowed it, and it took me a year to get through the first chapter. Thank you for tuning in. I see some of you are sticking around, so I really appreciate your presence. Your presence is a gift to me. Okay, so what are Uwashu and Shedi? So Uwashu or Ushet means to worship the divine, to propitiate the divine, the gods and goddesses that are within yourself. So you're actually just honoring yourself, your higher self, when you're worshiping or making offerings. You're activating the cosmic force inside of you. Ushet is of two types, external and internal. There we go. When you go to pilgrimage centers, temples, and spiritual gatherings, etc., you are practicing external worship or spiritual practice. When you go into your private meditation room on your own and you utter words of power, prayers, and meditations, you are practicing internal worship or spiritual practice. Ushet needs to be understood as a process of not only an outer show of spiritual practice, but is also a process of developing love for the divine. Therefore, Ushet really signifies a development in devotion towards the divine. This practice is also known as Sima Uwash or Yoga of Devotion. Ushet is the process of discovering the divine and allowing your heart to flow towards the divine. This program of life allows a spiritual aspirant to develop inner peace, contentment, and universal love. And these qualities lead to spiritual enlightenment or union with the divine. It is recommended that you seek the book, The Path of Divine Love by Dr. Mauda Ashby. This volume will give details into this form of Sima or yoga. So the word for yoga is Sima, unity with the divine. Hekau, or words of power, are utterances which can be used to promote spiritual wisdom, health, and well-being, mental concentration, and the transformation in consciousness. More will be elaborated on Hekau in the sections on words of power. And one more paragraph. Uja Uben Nefer, thank you for tuning in. Welcome to Good Rising TV. Uja Netra, thank you for tuning in. It's a busy Thursday. Shedi, or I should have been writing these down, huh? Ushet is devotion. What was the second one? Oh, Hekau. Hekau is chanting the names of the divine, or you could chant scriptures. shedding is the practice. Uja, Uben Nefer, do it for tuning in. Thank you so much. All about the t-shirt. The real Rick E. Manor. Uben Nefer. Can you see those? There we go. Ushet Devotion Hekau. Uja, Dua. Shedi is our spiritual discipline or program to go deeply into the mysteries, to study the mystery teachings and literature profoundly, to penetrate the mysteries. Thus, Shedi signifies spiritual discipline or program for promoting the understanding of the Shatai or Shatao, hidden supreme being, and growing spiritually in a process leading towards spiritual enlightenment. So let me write that down. Shatao. So we all have this hidden divinity. Hidden divinities. And most people don't even know about it, because we don't grow up knowing about it. But when you start to meditate and do yoga and you change your diet, and when you start going to temple, it becomes activated. And once you develop your practice, then you are on the path to your own enlightenment. Okay, I'm just going to read a few more proverbs. These are ancient African, Egyptian proverbs, or ancient Kemetic proverbs, or Netarian proverbs. I've stopped using the term Kemetic because Kemet limits you to a time or place. Oh my goodness, you can't even see it. It limits you to a time or place. When you think of Kemet, you think of Africa. And what I'm learning, or what I'm teaching or proposing, is that this practice existed all over the world at different times with different languages. And that's a way we can come together, is through our love of the Neters, our love of nature. What is going on with this? It's just all backwards. So that is my platform. It's coming together through our love of the Neteru. We just have to learn more about them, and then we'll be learning about them in different parts of the world as well. One thing is different today. It's not lining up for me. So a few more proverbs. Oh, behold with thine eye God's plans. Devote thyself to adore God's name. It is God who giveth souls to millions of forms, and God magnifieth whosoever magnifies God. God is hidden to gods and men. God's name remains hidden. It is a mystery to his children, men, women, and gods and goddesses. So that might be kind of confusing sometimes for people. There's God with a capital G, and then there's God and goddess with lowercase g. And then also there's self with a capital S, which means your higher self. And then there's just yourself, which is your ego self or your physical self. Okay, God's names with a capital G are innumerable, manifold, and no one knows their number. That's, in the Hindu tradition of the gods or goddesses, they have 108 names. And some of their chants are you're just chanting all 108 names of the same god or goddess. If you seek God with a capital G, you seek for the beautiful. One is the path that leads unto God, devotion joined with knowledge. Seekest thou God, thou seekest for the beautiful. One is the path that leadeth unto it, devotion joined with wisdom. So it's one thing to have devotion, to just pray and go to church or go to the mosque. But it's another thing. It's not really going to lead you where you want to go until you have the wisdom, the experience, or the mystical experience. In order to have the mystical experience, you have to know know the information, know the teachings. You have to study. All right, so that's enough of reading from that, and we'll pick up in this place next time. Okie dokie. So, one of the things that has helped me in my spiritual practice is breaking away from the Western calendar. Let's see if Neteru wants to make any comments. Eventually, I'll have
that I am going to be delaying sewing class because I'm moving around and I'm not going to make it for 10 o'clock. Greetings, sis. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Looks like you're on the move again. Every time I catch up with you, you're outside walking. That's wonderful.
Yeah, gotta walk, gotta move that chi around.
Yeah.
Gotta move it.
I also wanted to know about your name. Can you tell me about your name? It looks Netarian. It looks kinetic.
It is.
Yeah. Could you?
So I'm named after Neith.
Yeah.
The Festival of Lights to this deity. She's the only Neteru depicted with weapons.
Yes.
I'm the mistress of the hunt.
Yes. Yes.
My weapon of choice is arrows. Yes. The great networker.
Yes.
So I bring unusual things together and make them work. Things that people wouldn't think go together because of the way I think outside the box. I make things appear or show them because in my mind's eye, I see things differently. So, and then I'll show people, So I think I know I came to this plane to share information, ancient information that's been lost, and to reunite, our family. Us, a family that's on our vibration right now, who have awakened their ka and their ba. So, yeah. So that is Neteru. She's the guardian of the north, flower of the south.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
And another aspect of it that you didn't mention, which also applies to you, is she's the weaver of the fabric of the universe. She's also with a school of yarn on her.
And in this incarnation, I'm a clothing designer, so that flows with it.
Totally flows. Totally. You'll see her, and it sounds like knitting needles.
Yep.
Knitting needles.
Yes, knit. That's where knitting and all of that bringing together comes from.
Exactly.
My deity.
Beautiful.
My deity's attribute.
I'm going to read a little bit from this book. He has a little paragraph about Goddess Nit. Nit is the goddess of creation and war, as well as honor and decisive action. The attributes are the gold, shield, and pearl.
Look, boar's head.
Just Sister Julie can bring justice for her name in the Italian myth. Beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Wow, thank you for letting me.
Yeah. Okay, and let's see, we've got Brother Patrick here.
Hey, Brother Patrick. Rise in excellence.
Here on YouTube, and he's asking me, when will the second moon show up in the sky?
I thought it was showing.
You asked me this before, and I said I don't know. Other than, did you mean the blue moon?
No, there's another star. When the moon is out, there's a star, and they said that's our second moon. But there's another entity in the sky right now.
You don't mean Neteru. You don't mean Neteru, do you?
It must be, because they said it's only going to be for 2. Did you hear what she said?
Is it Neteru, Patrick?
It's a speck.
It's a speck?
Yeah, so no matter how much sunlight's going to shine on that thing, imagine having they said it's the size of a bus. Let's say this is the size of a bus.
Oh, the brother's saying it's the size of a bus.
Just to say that, and then it's 100,000, whatever, million miles away. It's not gonna be.
Well, it's only supposed to stay in our atmosphere for 2 months
Not even
anyway.
in our atmosphere.
So
Okay,
I'm
he said.
asking you, is this the same as Nibiru or is this
They
something
say
else?
all that stuff. To
Is
gas
it
people.
so? Is it Nibiru or is it something else?
Nibiru is not the size of a bus.
It's
the size
not
of a-
Nibiru. He says it's not.
No,
No.
I mean, like, if you're talking about stuff, it could be Nibiru, but you're not talking about that second moon.
Like I
Nibiru
said,
is like the size of the planet. It can't even come.
So he hasn't seen it yet. Where in the world? Where in the country is he? Did he tell you?
Patrick? No.
Yeah.
No, no, I'm just now finding it. I didn't know. I will find out and I'll get back to you, Patrick, because I did not know. I've stopped following our moon because I don't believe it's the real moon anymore. I think it's a fake moon. Or maybe the
Oh.
second moon is the real moon. I don't really know. But to be honest, thank you so much for bringing us to You hear that? He says this is the star where the higher self energy will. The higher self energy.
He says that's where the higher self energy is coming from.
He says this is the star where the higher self energy come from.
Yep. I won't say no.
I won't either. I had not heard about it. So okay. Earth's second moon, a mini moon will be on over. Okay, it's an asteroid, it's not a moon. Okay.
Oh, it's an asteroid.
It's an asteroid. Okay, it's a newly moon asteroid. Very okay. Where and how to see Earth's second moon this fall?
I'll be right back.
Thank you. I don't know how to. There we go. Okay. All right. Earth will have a second moon beginning September 29th after 4 p.m. Which moon will enter the Earth orbit until it departs on November 25th. Okay. Okay, so we have some time. But where in this, what constellation is it in? That's what we need to know. It's too small and dim for typical amateur telescopes and binoculars. It's well within the brightness range of typical telescopes. It still hasn't told me. Well, I guess since it's a whole month, it's just moving. So we can't say what constellations it's in. It's a whole month. I was thinking it's a few days. Okay, Brother Patrick, I will look into this asteroid and I will get back to you. I will make a video. The true opening of the seventh seal. Interesting. There are handy lists of U.S. observatories categorized by scale, located in universities.
The moon is an asteroid.
Well, that's what she just said.
When they speak about, when they say orbit, they're talking about, how the Earth circles around the sun, and it's pulled in that motion.
What was that?
Luke, can you hear me? Oh no, I had my mic. I had my mic off, so I just wanted to know if you could hear me now.
I can hear you. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you bringing this to my attention, Patrick, and for you elaborating. Like when you mentioned it to me before, I didn't even go look it up. I was so like, and something else. So I will have some more information for you as soon as possible. The true opening of the seventh seal. So that would be like the chakras of the creation, right? The seven seals. Okay. It's an asteroid. So let me put down that it's an asteroid. But it's only temporary. I mean, I guess a moon is an asteroid. It's a small moon. So Well, thank you very much. I really am excited about this. They say we won't be able to see it though without a strong telescope. I actually built a telescope when I was in college and it's in my basement. So I guess I have 20 days to pull it out and see if it still works. But I'm gonna put that on here. That's typically a topic for Wednesdays when I'm talking about the stars. But I will make a special occasion for that. Yeah, it's becoming too stressful for me because it changes every few days. And I'm a galactic girl. And I had to let it go. I used to do live streams and presentations every moon. And it was driving me crazy. Literally, lunacy. And it's not for me. It's not the frequency I need. But the moon represents the soul, the personality, your character. So it is important. But I didn't need to be going live every time the moon changed. But I do plan to do offerings when the moon is inside of the sacred hoop. I knew that was going to happen. One day I was not going to be able to find it, and I failed to. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. There we go. Well, that was an exciting conversation. That was really great. Thank you. Grand Rising, Lola.
Hey, Lapis Lazuli.
Lola La Bruja. It's
Welcome
so good.
in, welcome in.
Yes, I haven't been going live in a while. Going on last year, especially after they stole my heart. But I'm back. It's 9 a.m. and I will always post it. We just had a scintillating discussion on the second moon, which I did not know about. It appeared around September 29th and will be here till November 27th. So I will be back with a special presentation on what I find out. And today we're talking about.
Hey, DJ loves you.
Okay, Jehuti Imin Nekar, I don't know how to pronounce it. He really detests when we as Kemetic people use that word, which starts with a G, to describe and associate the Neteru, who are divine principles and laws. Let's endeavor to use our ancient classical language. Yes, I strive to use the term cosmic forces of nature. That's what I choose. But most people don't.
We don't use Gothic words. We don't use Gothic words whatsoever. We try not to use Gothic words to describe our deities. High five.
Thank you so much. Thank you for calling me out today. I've been called out twice, calling myself an astronomer. I didn't know about the second moon. And then I'm talking about our divinity, and I used it. Okay.
You're funny, Santi. You are funny. I have what do I have? I have mullein. I have mullein and rose red raspberry today. Mullein for breathing. Yes, and the red.
I'm growing mullein out front. I harvested it.
I love it. I love it. Yo, I was on live yesterday and I was looking at my garden and I planted red potatoes and I'm talking to a sister and I just glanced and I panned the camera. We grew potatoes yesterday. We had a whole potato in there. I'm so geeked. I love it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, send me some in an email and I'll try it. Okay.
No, you know what? I'll send you some seeds. I'll send you
Okay,
seeds.
well, potato seeds? I've never seen potato seeds. I usually just cut off a slice of potato and plant it. I've never even seen a potato seed. Okay, yeah, send me some potato seeds. Okay, well, I appreciate you all for calling me out, and I will strive to not use those terms. I only use them when I'm talking to people that don't know what I mean. So I don't want anyone to detest me or my practice or what I'm talking about. So I really appreciate you. Okay. So I wanted to mention another tool that's really useful to me for the calendar. I've been using the calendar from the Earth Center. Oh, it's a beautiful image. Versus it's a 10-day
I
calendar,
created it with AI.
10-day week, and it has you click on the highlighted one, tells you what's going on that day. And according to this calendar, today is the Divine Holy Day. And last year, before my heart was stolen, I'm gonna mute Neteru for a little while because I'm talking, and then when I'm done talking about it, we can talk some more. Last year, I was doing a divine offering on the divine holy days and the ancestral holy days, and then when my heart was stolen, I stopped. But today is the divine holy day for Nefertum and Mesti. And if you go online, if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll find the presentation for today's divine holy day. I almost made it through a whole year, and then I stopped. I do have something for Nefertum. And in the very near future, I don't know how near, maybe not until the winter solstice, I will be setting up the virtual temporal subscriptions for the Cosmic Adoration, Cosmic Chimes and Chanting, Spiral Dance Medicine Wheel, and the Akusaneb Reflective Yoga Meditation Movement sequence practice that's based on the Tef Neteru system from Sebajan, with a little tweaks. So I just wanted to recite the chapter for the lotus for Nefertum. But before I do any readings from the Purdah Meru, it's important to recite a chant. So I'm going to do that. That's a hekau. For the deities, cosmic forces of nature, for Nebuchadnezzar, Kepra, and Asar. And in the yoga practice, Nebuchadnezzar came forth, it is brought out that Nebuchadnezzar came forth as Kepra to create the forces of nature, and then came forth as Asar, as the universal soul. And so there's a certain prayer you're supposed to, certain chant you're supposed to recite before reading from the Purdah Meru. And when I started going live, to save time, I was gifted with this one. And it's haven't been released yet. Om Nebuchadnezzar Kepra Sarom. Om Nebuchadnezzar Kepra Sarom. Om Nebuchadnezzar Kepra Sarom. Om Nebuchadnezzar Kepra Sarom. Kepra Sarom. Om Nebuchadnezzar Kepra Sarom. Om Nebuchadnezzar Kepra Sarom. Om Nebuchadnezzar Kepra Sarom. Om Nebuchadnezzar Om Nebuchadnezzar Kepra Sarom. Yeah, that song is in such a weird key. Without the harp, I'm kind of lost. I'm all over the place. But it is my intention to obtain another one by the end of the year. Okay, so this is from Seba Ma has a version of the Purdue Maru. It's different from Budge. I don't nudge the Budge. Strictly into his versions. Because Seba Ma's presentations lead us to enlightenment. Chapter 24, making the transformation into a lotus. These words are said by Asar, and when I say Asar and then I pause, you enter your name. So I'm going to say Asar Arit, and then you just say your name. These words are said by Asar Arit. I am the lotus pure, coming forth out into day. I am the guardian of the nostril of Ra and keeper of the nose of Neteru. I make, I come, and I seek after he that is Haru. I am pure, going out from the field. And then there's an image of, where is it? Image of Nefertam there. Nuk Nefertam, I am the lotus of creation and sacred words of power. I am the newborn sun, symbolized by the divine solar child who emerges from the primeval ocean and sits upon the lotus flower of creation. Nuk Nefertam, I am Nefertam. I sit above creation in freedom and in peace. My lotus fragrance is purifying, is cleansing to all, and I bring purity to the world every day. Nuk Nefertam, I am Nefertam. So today, according to this Kemetic Sirius sidereal calendar from Mali, the Dogon, today is day number 9 of this decan, a 10-day week. I don't like to say week because I'm strong. And this is the day we have the divine holy day for Nefertam and Mesti. And then we had a thing for Nefertam. But when I start these subscription services, it'll be regular, prayerfully. So that gives me a great introduction to the Tap Neteru Sima Pout Yoga Reflective Movement Meditation System. And I'm going to start teaching the Akusa Neb version very soon. They're not called yoga postures because we're moving. We're reflecting for example, here's one for Kepara Kaman. Oops, he's got the images from the hieroglyphs, right? And so we're recreating their movements. And when you put them together in this fashion, you're recreating the process of creation. And so when you make this part of your practice, you take yourself through these steps of creation. And this is how you manifest your enlightened lifestyle. Remember the proverb said we're supposed to become cosmic forces of nature. I'm not going to use those terms anymore. Thank you for calling me out. And that's how we can become true gods and goddesses, by learning how to create through using movement, sound, words of power, and identifying with the cosmic forces of nature, identifying with the Neteru. That's the whole purpose of this Netarian spiritual practice. And like I said before, I've stopped using the term Kemetic because that just limits you to time way back in the past, ancient in Egypt. And we know that similar practices were observed here in Tameri. That's the Netarian name for North, Central, and South America is Tameri. And on Tuesdays, American Tuesdays, we go into different topics of interest to those of us here in Turtle Island and Tameri. Tameri, which means beloved land. Oops. So we're moving away from identifying ourselves as Black or African American, and we are embracing our Aboriginal identity or descendants of the Aboriginal people of Tamerica. So we go into those topics on Tuesdays, the same time slot, and I always post replays on the YouTube channel. So this whole presentation is what came to me after my last trip to Kemet, that it's time to unite Eastern and Western Kemet. Tamari, and Kemet. So, and then I have it on different days to make it easier to keep up with. Okay, so we talked a little about that. And then the last thing, I've really been enjoying this. This is Professor Hilton Hotema. I don't know if any of you have heard of him. He was an American, Caucasian, that realized that in his past life, he had been a Kemetic priest. And he's devoted his life to sharing this knowledge because he felt that he knew that the so-called black people of America, or African Americans, were also descendants of ancient Kemet, or maybe they had reincarnated, and he wanted to help black people wake up. So he was really the first teacher that I studied with. I was reading the books regularly, and I decided to revisit it during these Thursday sessions to see how does it measure up to the Kemetic teachings that I've been studying with Sabai Ma. And so far, what I've realized is when he's talking about the cosmic forces, the cosmic science of ancient masters. So those are the cosmic forces. So that are the Neteru, the Netarians. You can see here he has the image from Dendera, which was stolen from the temple of Neteru, and they put a fake one there, and the real one is locked away in some museum in Europe. But what I've been finding is he's talking about the Netarian practice, but he is using a code. Like he's speaking in code. And when I first read it almost 40 years ago, I didn't know the code. I hadn't studied ancient Kemet, I hadn't studied Netarian spirituality yet, so I didn't understand. But now that I'm reading it, it's really it's very good. It's very useful, and it's good for me because this is where I came from. I'm gonna have to reach out to that Jehuti Emin Tekir. I can't read it because I don't want anyone to detest on my channel. I'm so sorry. So last week we read from the chapter Apollonius of Tyana. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Apollonius of Tyana. This is the person who the story of the avatar of one of the major religions of the world, his life is based, JC, his life is actually based on the events of Apollonius of Tyana. And there's a book called Mystery Man of the Bible that if you're someone who is making the transition from Western imperialism to Netarianism, the title of this book is Cosmic Sciences of the Ancient Masters. Thank you, Mad Love. Thank you for being here today. Good Rising, Great Awakenings. Thank you for your presence. Your presence is a gift to me. So now I'm going to read the chapter on the serpent of creation, not the chapter, page, birth and death, because now we know that's Sekhem, that's Sekhmet. The serpent power is Sekhem. And goddess Sekhmet is the goddess of the serpent power, and Neteru, another form of Sekhmet, is the great goddess of the serpent power. Great Rising, Great Awakenings. Birth and death, and also birth and death, that's a representative of Asar, who is the universal soul, who's the king of eternity. So some would say that while we're walking around alive on earth, that this is our spiritual death. And that when our body dies, we're reborn into our spiritual life. Birth and death are two diluting aspects of the same thing. Physical birth may be termed spiritual death, and spiritual birth is regarded as physical death. For due to false teaching, man is never more spiritually dead than when physically alive. The condensation of the spirit builds the body that appears to be born, and the animating spirit that leaves the body and reunites with the divine essence appears to die. These appearances are misleading illusions. We reason from what we think we see and say that man dies or the sun rises, whereas man only appears to die and the sun only appears to rise. Birth into the physical world may be termed death, as we leave the spiritual world, the kingdom of heaven. What we term death in the physical world is actually birth in the spiritual world as we pass on to that glorious future life. Creative processes move in cycles, and the soul could not be eternal on one side and not be on the other. Knowledge based on truth takes the sting out of death. And then he quotes from the Bible. And I find this useful because it helps me when I'm talking to people who are still indoctrinated into this practice. O grave, where is thy victory? 1 Corinthians 1:15-55. The Creator is one, the same as one electricity in each of the millions of light globes. Ye are cosmic forces of nature. I'm translating. I'm not going to use the lowercase g words anymore. And all of you are the children of the Most High. Psalm 82:6. There is one intelligence, one substance, one life, one spirit, one divine, all-encompassing, all-embracing spirit. All is one and one is all. In this practice, we call that Neteru. Let me go to this Seba Ma's book, the manual, where he talks about this very well. Oh, this is a nice image. It shows the Neteru coming from the one. The flag is a symbol of the Neter, and these are the main ones in the cosmic process of creation. So just by chanting their names, you're actually going through the process of creation. Okay. Okay, here we go. So this is the brief gloss on the 4 great truths of Shaitan Neter. Well, how can I do it without singing it? Come on. I'll just sing it one time instead of 4 times. Neteru, never shed him, Neteru. On my arts, we sell you said, say, come in. Say, wash you, say, now fool, inside you said. Originating, record, market. Like that. Normally you would sing that 4 times, but I only brought that out because this has a very good definition of Neteru. The Neter, so I'm going to translate and read the gloss. The Neter, the Supreme Being, is one and alone, and is Neteru, manifesting everywhere and in all things in the form of cosmic forces of nature. Neteru means all-encompassing divinity, the all-inclusive, all-embracing spirit which pervades all, and who is the ultimate essence of all. This first truth unifies all the expressions of Kemetan religion. I don't even like to say religion. I prefer to use the word spirituality. On Ma'at Visayi said, say, come in. Lack of righteousness brings fetters to the personality, and these fetters lead to ignorance of the divine. And there's a commentary. When a human being acts in ways that contradict the natural order of nature, negative qualities of the mind will develop within that person's personality. These are the afflictions of Set. Set is the Neteru of egoism and selfishness. The afflictions of Set include anger, hatred, greed, lust, jealousy, envy, gluttony, dishonesty, hypocrisy, etc. So to be free from the fetters of Set, one must be free from the afflictions of Set. Say Washu, say Nafu, and Sayu Set. Devotion to the divine leads to freedom from the fetters of Set. To be liberated, Nafu, freedom to breathe from the afflictions of Set, one must be devoted to the divine. Being devoted to the divine means living by Ma'at. Ma'at is a way of life that is purifying to the heart and beneficial for society as it promotes virtue and order. Living by Ma'at means practicing Shedi, spiritual practices and disciplines. Uwashu means devotion, and the classic pose of adoring the divine is called Dua. Standing or sitting with upraised hands facing outwards towards the image of the divinity. That's my favorite line. The practice of Shedi disciplines leads to knowing oneself as the divine. I made that change there. I say as the divine, because in here he says, and the divine. And I talked to him about it, because I say, if you say and the divine, then that's the duality. And he agreed with me and said I could continue to say as a divine. The practice of the Shedi disciplines leads to knowing oneself as the divine. This is called being true of speech. So here we go. Jehuti busted me for not being true of speech because I also detested when people use that term. But I'm trying to reach people who don't know about it. And so I really appreciate you, Jehuti. True of speech, because I want to be true of speech, pure of heart. I don't want to be saying things that I don't do myself. Doing shedding means to study profoundly, to penetrate the mystery, Shatao, and discover the nature of the divine. There have been several practices designed by the sages of ancient Kemet to facilitate the process of self-knowledge. These are the religious Shatao, and I like to say the spiritual, hidden Shatao traditions, and the Sima or Smai Taoyi yogic disciplines related to them that augment the spiritual practices. All the traditions relate the teachings of the sages by means of myths related to particular cosmic forces of nature. It is understood that all of these Neteru are related like brothers and sisters, having all emanated from the same source, the same supremely divine parent who is neither male nor female, but encompasses the totality of the two. Hatep. I really dig what you do, so it's not you personally, Sinet. That is a collective statement. It is not like I came up knowing Kemeti, neither did I come up as anything else. Sent. Well, I'm so glad to have you as my brother now. I'm gonna open this up and see if Nitra has any comments. Oh, look at spiritual warriors are healers. She pulled a card that says spiritual warriors are healers.
Indeed.
Is it our healer or and healers? Our healers. That's right. Spiritual warriors are healers. I didn't know I was a healer until I had a traumatic event. I didn't even know about healing, wellness, teaching until I was assaulted, and that led to my spiritual awakening. And then all these tools that I use to heal myself, then I learned how to help others to heal, and now I'm teaching about my healing journey. That's basically all I'm doing is I really consider myself a teacher, but people learn when I talk, so I guess I'm a teacher. But I'm just sharing my spiritual journey, my healing journey. Okay, so we've got something here Nietzsche's going to share with us.
Oh, actually, this is from when you go into the museum, and they have all these names for Kim,
Oh,
but these are the true names. So these are the modern names: Memphis, Abydos, Dendera. But Dendera was I went.
Dendera is not the original name either.
No, I went. Karnak is I pet a suit. So, beautiful. So
I would
it's
love to get that list.
yeah.
I have a beautiful song that I wrote about the places along the Nile. And
Look at the year that we're in. Look at this was a couple of years back. So, but from what they have the people going through now, 2024, and we've already seen 64,
it's
60.
way more than that.
It's way,
Yeah. Let me see what's going on. I can't even remember. On the Netarian calendar, we're at like 800,000 something. We're way beyond 6,000. Based on the time reckoning of the pyramids of Giza and the Sphinx, we're way older than 6,000 years. Way. I'm going to write that down and make sure I have that information because I stopped. Wait. I know how I can find it because we had the Kemetic New Year and I released something. What year we're in now? Yes, I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. On July. Are you in June? July? I think I did. Yeah, I did something. Alright, Sirius Rising, Divine Dancing. 3 months ago. Yeah, 38,791. We're at the year 38,791, according to time reckoning of the pyramid and the Sphinx.
nice.
Yeah. And then the Dogon calendar the Syrian
Good
calendar.
job, Sinead.
If you go to their calendar, it'll say 424, but it's 424 of a 1600-year cycle. And I don't know how many of the 1600-year cycles we're in. It might be like 5,000 1600-year cycle. I don't even remember.
Right.
But I will make a note of that. What year is it actually? Because they do teach you about it. So I'm going to make a note of the serious year. How do they calculate the year? I don't know if you're familiar with the Earth Center. I was a proponent of the Earth Center while Master Nabu was still alive. But I'll be honest with you, something very mysterious happened with his death. And I don't follow them anymore. I only follow his calendar and I refer to his his teachings. But I think his son took it over. And there is something really mysterious about after Master Nava died from a urinary tract infection. How does a master herbalist healer die from a urinary tract infection, right?
Things happen. I mean, the foods that we have access to right now are tainted, and I mean, after a while, these things, these foreign antibodies form in the body. So it's just something to watch, sis, because we really, that's why it's good that we're historians, because it's really good to go back and find out when Clinton was in office, he had all these people come in and build Monsanto, and this is where we got the GMO seed. So the food is denatured to begin with. And then now we're getting foods from different companies that do not have all communities' best interests at heart. So if people just really take the time to go through the archives, there was a time where the schools were giving our children milk that was radiated. Okay, so we have to be really clear that sometimes it's not foul play, but sometimes it is. But there's things that can really build up in the system if we're not cleaning out our system regularly.
But he was, I'm telling you, he was sitting on the. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about it. I just know friends of the family of the died.
No, I'm sure.
They went to Mali and had a ceremony. That was students. And everyone got really sick. 2 people died, except for when the sun took over. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
when
very.
I talk about the Earth Center or the Sirius calendar, I'm specifically talking to Master Nava. I'm not encouraging anyone to go over there now. That's all I was trying to say. A little too suspicious for me. But Master Nava is, to me, a serious source of information. So, all right. So, and you've got some pictures from, that looks like.
I was looking at some pictures before I was in another space, though.
No, I mean, like now you're looking at this book. Is that from the Pardon Haru?
Oh, no. That's from Spiritual Warriors or Healers.
Okay.
This is from Emphodishi Jahatimus.
Okay.
Here's the elder here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've mostly just been studying Dr. Ashby's for a while. I'm just now starting to.
Yeah, they all work together because this brother's from Tanzania. He worked in academics. And he actually used to intern with the brother that you're speaking about now. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, working with them really changed my life. That's why I'm always talking about them and referring people to go study with them because, like I said, I had studied Rastafari, Black People Israelite, Medicine Wheel, Turtle Island, Japanese Buddhism, Indian Hinduism. Then I got into Hermetic, and that was the first practice that helped me identify the egoism within myself.
Right.
And recognizing it in others, and then gave me the tools on how to deal with it. And that's what changed my whole life. In fact, I found them because I was flirting with some guy on a social media platform.
I love you so much.
He
You
was
are so
really, he
real.
was really into Dr. Ashby, and I was like, okay. Let me just
She's like, I was flirting with some guy.
play with
I
some
was
guy.
flirting with him.
And we were like, he was just getting out of divorce, and I had just gotten out of divorce. And so we were like, we were talking, was it commiserating? We were like, oh, da 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 da, no, let's try, And then we started talking about meeting in person at one of the conferences. Dr. Ashby puts on these amazing conferences every year.
Yes.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'll meet you there. I was all excited. And at the last minute, he said he couldn't go.
Oh no.
He wanted me to go. And I was like, I guess so. I already bought my ticket and everything. I got the house sitter arranged. And I went thinking we were just going to be doing the yoga postures. I did not know about the spirituality. I tell this story at every live stream. I'm sorry if you've already heard this story.
I haven't. That tickled me so much because I just appreciate I appreciate love the honesty because people
girl,
just
I was flirting with
people,
this guy.
but we've killed ego, so we're childlike, so we'll share, but it's refreshing because a lot of folks are just like, we're not telling nobody that.
Oh, he was so cute, let me tell you.
I love it.
Screaming, my dog was like, Mom. I was like, oh, sorry. But I went to the conference and we only did the postures 1 hour a day. It was a 4-day retreat. And the rest of the day, it was lectures, not like what I'm doing. He was really but
intense.
All day.
Are you familiar with Shechem from Osara Set Society?
I am not.
So he's a ED, right? He's past the doctorate. He's a ED. So there's levels of when you get a PhD, then there's another. Okay, so he's a ED, right? A jurist, right? So when you went to his class, I don't care if you were 12, he was like, pull out this your little notebook and let's commence. And he spoke on a collegiate level, and you're like, wait, what did he just say? Wait, what did he just say?
And when these conferences, little children would come, they'd be 6 years old, 7 years old, and they'd pull out their tablets and they'd be writing with their mom. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Get up and give presentations, the children, because they understand all this stuff. They get it. So it's beautiful to be a part of a community like that. And
it really is. I know. That's why I want to be in community with you so bad, because I'm like,
I know. Well, I'm getting myself together. I'm getting it together. I established the temple, Asmadaji Temple of Divine Light, Healing, and Sweet Sounds. And I'm getting my 508c1a status. I've gotten that.
Nice.
And now,
congratulations.
Not a 501.
Right. Yes, you're on the show.
508 C1A. I got that. I got it established in California back in 2012. And then back when I moved to Chicago, I got one in Illinois. And now I'm working on tax exempt status.
Can you educate me a little bit on the difference between the 501c3 and the one that you got?
I can. I can a little bit. I'm not an expert, but it's a 508.
To your knowledge.
This is what a nonprofit for a faith-based spiritual organization was designated as for a very long time. 1A. And then I think it was in the 70s or the 80s, they initiated the 501c3, right? With that one, it's like the difference between being a tribe and being a federally recognized tribe. With the 501c3, the government is in on everything that you're doing. It's telling you what you can say, what you can't say.
Oh, wow.
And then the money and the taxes and all that. Even though you're taxing, you still have to give them money. 508 is only for a faith-based organization, and the government has no say on your ministry. Some people see it as a form of sovereignty.
Okay.
A level of tax exempt status, but you have to prove to them that you are a spiritual organization. So in my application, and we talked about this on American Tuesday. Oh, that's a beautiful image. On Tuesday, on my application, it was the sales tax was denied, and it took them 2 years to tell me why. And it says, because I'm not operating out of a physical location and I'm not converting anyone. And it's true. When probably by the time they got my application, I was not operating out of a physical location because my building is in duress. And I was in a domestic violence situation last year, and that guy had taken over my property, was trying to steal it. But now I've started doing the Akusanev reflective movement meditation system on Fridays from 3 until 5 live, not live stream, but live here in my space. And I'm going to be working on my appeal that I'm not trying to convert anyone. This is a healing temple. And I'm out in the public all the time, offering free sound healing.
Right.
I'm always giving workshops and presentations, so I gotta work on my appeal. That's what I'm working on today. So once that's sent in, then I will achieve sales tax exempt status, and then working on the other, because once you have received the 508c1a status, you are automatically tax exempt, because that is in the code of the 508. That's in the description of the 508, according to the IRS. It's their own classification. So if you have a spiritual practice or a ministry, like mine is a healing ministry, a musical healing ministry, then this is a way to go. And so once I've achieved the sales tax exemption, then I would, I'm gonna open it up to other members, people who come and take classes here. And you've heard me talk about the online temple membership subscription service for people to attend the online offerings that I'll be doing for healing and devotion. So, in a nutshell, you can just, look it up. I have a webpage at my website for Osmosis Temple, and I'll try to type it in here if anybody wants to go. And I'll write it on rightbeingwellness.com/osmosis-. Spell it right? Wow, not one typo.
Yay.
It's so funny. Okay, right. Yeah, so I first learned about this. I learned about this at one of Dr. Ashby's conferences. The caterer and her husband at the time, who was attorney, I think I sang a song. And he said, "What have you established your ministry yet?" And I'm like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, you're a priestess. You have to establish a ministry." And that is when I first found out about it. Dr. Ashby. And so he's been helping me all this time, getting the paperwork together and answering my questions. And recently he told me that I need to figure this next thing out myself. He's not going to help me. I have to do it myself. But what? But yeah, anyone who's interested in that has a ministry, sorry, my handwriting. I would definitely look into the 508. So if you go to this webpage, my webpage, I have a list of resources for people who want to learn more about it. And I'm going to be updating my calendar there, because the schedule there was from 2023 or 2022 into 2022. And then once my heart was stolen, it was like my heart was stolen. It was so painful. I stopped going live. I stopped working on my album, because I have 3 Netarian devotion albums on my laptop that I was trying to hire professionals to mix and master, and he just couldn't figure it out. I was like, because I had the vocals, I think I had like 7 layers of background vocals, So I'm gonna do it myself. I got my motherboard replaced and my computer's working great, and so I'm going to be releasing those albums very soon. I was involved with a rehabbing the building. This is the Osmosis Temple Light Being Wellness Center. So I've been rehabbing And I just got away from a lot of things. But anyway. Okay, so I talked about the things that I wanted to talk about. I talked about the cosmic force. Let's go over the books we looked at. We looked at their temple manual, and I'm putting together Osmodegy temple manual. And we read the chapters on the section on what is Uwashu and Shadi, which is devotion and your spiritual practice. And we also learned about the term Hekau, which is chanting sacred words of power. And then I offered the 4 great truths of Shatao Neteru, and we went through the gloss and the translation because we were learning about the term Nebuchadnezzar. And I read a passage from the myth of Aset and Ra, at the very end, the last line of the scripture, where she talks about how they made a pact between her and Ra, because when she says her son Heru, that's all of us. Anyone who follows her instructions can become a cosmic force of nature. And then, of course, I got called out as an astronomer. I did not know about the second moon. Brother Patrick opened the discussion. And, that's another book I have in my library, Sacred Woman. We'll get to that soon. And Neteru told us about her name, the meaning of her name, Goddess Knit. And she's a seamstress, which she didn't know about the weaving aspect. She's a warrior. She's got the bows and the arrows. We had a really good conversation. And then Brother Jehuti Imin, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm gonna say Dakar. I don't know. I'm gonna say Brother Jehuti pointed out that he detested when Kemetic or Netarians use the term God or Goddess to describe the cosmic forces of nature. And I was like, you are so right. I hate it when people do that too. So this was a big learning session for me. And I will come back with a presentation on the second moon. I learned that it was first talked about or discovered on September 29th. And we'll be able to see it until November 27th. And I didn't know about it. And I'm going to have a small presentation on that as well. And then we closed up with a reading from Cosmic Science of the Ancient Masters. This was like one of my first spiritual teachers. He's an American, aka white guy, who realized Jed Ka Ra. Oh, okay. Jed Ka Ra. Got it. Where did you get these letters though, the symbols? Okay, well, next time I'll do the Jed song. This is one of my first teachers, aka white man, who realized in his past life he had been a priest in Egypt. And so he set out, he's got some great books. Mystery Man of the Bible is one for people who are coming out of Christianity into Netarianism. He breaks it down really well. And this book I really enjoy because he talks about things that when I first read it, I didn't really know what he meant. But now that I've studied Kemet University for 12 or 13 years, now I know what it means. So it's really fun to go back and read it. So that's what I've been sharing with the group. And today we read the chapter on Sekhem, serpent power, birth and death. And then we'll go next time, chapter 7, there is no death. All right, so that's it for today. This has been a presentation of Good Rising TV, Good Rising Great Awakenings from the Light Being Wellness Center. Ooh, someone else joined me. Oh wait, she's got 2 on. No. How did someone else join me? Good Rising. Uh-oh, I think I know who that is. Uja? Uben Nefer. Let's see. Uja? I don't hear anything. Uben Nefer? If you follow them back, you can go Ratidon. Okay, yeah, I'll follow him back. I can't hear anything.
I can't hear anything.
Hello, Rati.
Wagwan, wagwan.
Hey.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Nice to meet you too.
You just caught
Hello.
this presentation for today. But I'm back on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 8 to 9:30 a.m. Where are you located today?
Kingston, Jamaica.
It's in
All
Jamaica.
right.
Irie.
Irie,
Shout out.
Irie, Irie.
You know, I don't have I have I'm a reggae singer. I have a reggae band, and
Yeah,
I've
that's
toured quite
that's
a
good.
yeah, I've toured quite a bit, but not lately. Don't have many gigs. I love reggae so much. Really how
Just
I
put
got
in the
on that.
work, you know? Just
Huh?
put in the work and believe in yourself.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Are you a musician?
Not really, but I can do a little thing.
Okay. Well, what do you like to do?
I like to sing.
You like to sing. Okay. Are you
Yeah.
into comedic culture and spirituality?
Huh?
Are you into comedic culture and spirituality? Ancient African Egyptian spirituality?
Not really, but I would love to know though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't even know how you ended up on my live. I don't remember
I brought him up.
putting the buttons.
I brought him up. I saw his name and I brought him up.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Nitra. Yeah, on Tuesdays, we talk about nation building for people in North, Central, and South America, and that would include
Yeah.
the islands. Reclaiming our Aboriginal heritage, not Native Americans, but the Aboriginal people who are here, because we know that quote unquote Black people were on every continent originally. And on Wednesdays, we talk about wellness, sound healing, astrology, frequencies, herbalism, flower essences, tools. And on Thursdays, we talk about different elements or aspects of a Netarian spiritual practice, getting to know the cosmic forces of nature. And I'm here on Monday through Thursday, Tuesday to Thursday, 8 to 9:30 a.m. Central. So maybe you can catch me next time. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. Medu Neter is phonetic. Oh, so you have a Medu Neter hieroglyphic font on your computer? Uja Orisha Bunil. Are you the person that I was going to try to have on a live stream last time on Thursday so we could talk about the connections between the Orisha and the Neteru? If not, would you be willing to do that next time? Is it possible for you to tune in at like 9 a.m. Central? Okay. Well, if you can tune in and we can talk about the correspondences between the Orisha and the Neteru. That's something I'd like to explore on Tuesdays when I do the Tamarican broadcast. I'm exploring the connections between the Olmec and the Neteru, the Tamari connection. And on Thursdays, I would love to discuss the Orisha and the Neteru. That's my passion, is to show that these traditions are all related. They're all following cosmic forces of nature, and we're going to learn how to use them. On Wednesday, I've been going through the meditation practice that came to me during the Green Flash Sunrise in 2022, and I downloaded this meditation technique. And when I was doing it consistently for about a year, and the frequencies of my life started to change. They got better. And then I had to stop my practice to focus on the books, because I needed to write my books, to publish my books, and I wasn't making time to work on the books because I was so focused on my practice. So I took a break, and I just started again November 1st, the middle of fall. Uja Sulman Kaisarani, I'm getting ready to tune out. So if you could join me next Thursday a little earlier, because I end at around 9:30. And I wanted to also, for those of you on TikTok, I wanted to thank you for tapping the screen Senti Nitra is so good about that, and I'm sure she's the one that tapped the screen. But it really helps everyone on TikTok. When you go visit your favorite content creator, if you can tap the screen for them. Whenever I visit someone's room, I try to tap at least 1,000. And then also, if you're gonna follow me, that little heart at the top, you could join my team, and I would love for you to join my team. So, Brother Jehuti telling me that there is a Neteru font. I love it. I've learned so much today. Usually I'm just rambling, and I've learned so much today. I've had a wonderful experience. Like I said, I don't really consider myself a teacher. I'm just sharing aspects of my spiritual and healing journey, and I just love, I love learning. I learned that since I'm not in Kemetic University, this is an outlet for me to get back into my research. It causes me to, share. And I'm going to get all these notes typed up into a resource. But anyway, if you could join Arisha Bunmi next Thursday, I'm going live from 8 to 9:30 a.m. So we could talk about the correspondences between the Neteru and the Orisha. I have not joined a Orisha community. When I was in Rio de Janeiro for 2 months, I got really close to joining House of Shango, but I didn't go back. I thought I was gonna move there, but I've always been really close to Yemaya, and I do have an altar for Yemaya, and I just consider it part of my Netarian practice. Not that it's Orisha and this is Kemetic, it's Netarian. Yemaya is the cosmic force of water and the sky, and she just is. That's just she is. Dua. Oh, Dua, I'm thankful for you too, really, Jehuti. And I hope that you can join some of my other programs. I have 2 Netarian albums out. The first one was my first one, Blue Lotus Speaks, Anpu, Opener of the Way. And then in July of 2022, I released my second Netarian album for the Netarian New Year. I had 1 song for each day of the New Year. And then I've released a single, 2 Roads, which is based on Ma'at teachers. Dua. Yes, and then I've 2 Roads, which is based on Ma'at teachings. And I have 3 albums on my laptop I have to get out. And then I have 2 songs for the Akusaneb yoga, reflective movement meditation practice. One is a summary. I just sang it in 1 take and it was so perfect. I'm not going to try to do better. I'm just going to release that one. And then I have an album for Amun, an album for Aset, an album for Ma'at. I guess it's 4, and then another general album. And then if you go to my SoundCloud page, no, not SoundCloud, Bandcamp page, I have some chants that have yet to be released on an album. I've just put them there, but they're not on Spotify or anything. And then I also have, I think, 3 or 4 Kemetic Netarian reggae songs. And I would love to start performing again. I do have a venue that said they would let me play there. However, my bass player moved back to California and I just haven't tried again. But I would love to do that again. And I think that's everything I needed to say for today. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for tapping the screen. Thank you for your gifts. For those of you just tuning in, the replay will be available on my YouTube music channel. And I will be back on Tuesday with Tamarican Tuesday, Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday, Thursday. I called it Netarian Devotional Thursdays, but people don't know what that means. So today I just put Cosmic Forces of Nature on Thursdays. And it's been a wonderful session. I'm just feeling feeling really good. And I'll see you next time. Oh, Eshofuni, yes, that is a great song. Eshofuni is from the teachings of Japanese Buddhism, from the Lotus Sutra. You and the land are one. If the land's impure, the mind's impure. The mind's made pure, the land's made pure. And that is one of my motivations for sharing the wisdom teachings, because people's minds are so impure from all the brainwashing and conditioning that we've received through the millennia that's in our DNA. So I'm like, if we can purify our minds and purify our hearts, we can purify the land. If we purify the land, I mean, that's why I love to do housework. It's because when I clean my space, it purifies my mind and my heart. They go together. So thank you for bringing that up. That album is from Celestial Folk Music, and it was recorded in Rio de Janeiro. Oh, I can close on this. When I was doing my travels to Central and South America, I was looking for proof of ancient Kemet and Tamari. I didn't know it was Tamari at the time. I was calling the whole continent Turtle Island, but only North America is Turtle Island. And I went to Brazil, I went to Ecuador, Peru, of course Mexico, Belize. I didn't make it to Guatemala. But when I was in Brazil, I met a musician who recorded 2 songs on the album, and he's from the town of Neteru. And I was like, Neteru, that sounds like King of the Neteru, right? Neteru. And when earlier I was telling you about how I almost joined the House of Shango, it was his mother's house. His mother is a priest of Shango. And, when you said Eshafun, it just brought back all of those memories. I got to dance in Carnival. I went to Samba school. And I just really want to go back. I want to continue my research project, because when I was in Brazil, I went to this little town of Jeremoabo, because I've been studying When Rocks Cry Out by Horace Butler. And he has proof of ancient Kemet in Central and South America. And that I could talk about this stuff forever. That's why I have 3 days and I talk about the topics on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But yeah, I got to get back to my research of connecting Eastern and Western Kemet, or Eastern and Western Neterian traditions of Tamari and Kemet. And when I say Kemet, it's Egypt. That means the Dogon in Mali. That means the Orisha in Nigeria. And that means all the other communities that I don't even know about that are still practicing Kemetic spirituality, or the Neteru. We just don't know about them. But I know they're there. I read about them. I see videos about them. Different professors talk about them. And I know that it's there. And that's my work, my life's work, is to bring out this connection. And then once I've united Eastern and Western, then we can go on to Europe and Asia, because they're all Neterian. The indigenous practices, not the colonizer, pirate, missionary, crusades, not those. The people that they kill their own people for this new religion of Christianity. Before they came to the West and to Africa, they treated their own people the same way. And those people get discredited. They weren't into all this stuff either. Their lives were ruined. They're living under the oppression as well. So on Tuesdays, Tamarican Tuesdays, we talk about the indigenous people of the 4 directions. Okay, once again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tapping your screen. This has been another broadcast of Good Rising TV from Light Being Wellness and Asmataji Temple of Divine Light Healing and Sweet Sounds. I really appreciate you. Your presence is a gift to me. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you soon. Thank you for giving me my homework and my assignments. And I'm just very grateful right now. Dua Hatep. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hatep.